now. And I am letting someone in. So we're just going to wait a minute for that person to come in. Okay. We'll wait for Cheryl to get in, and then we will, I'll introduce you and we'll continue with our program. Just give her a minute here. Oh, here she comes. Hi, Cheryl. Good of you to come. So welcome everyone this evening to another installment from the Parsippany Green Team. This is in reference to water conservation, and our presenter this evening will be Judy Hernandez. Judy, take it away.
Okay. Thanks, Jean Marie. So yes, this is in the Parsippany Green Team. I'm a co-leader of, and let me just give a little plug for Parsippany Green Team. We're working with the municipality as volunteers, and we have experts in the field and not so many, people that are not experts too, that are helping across a diverse area of subjects, and we're identifying subjects and incentives for the town to help us become more sustainable, both economically and environmentally. So that's my plug for the for Parsippany Green Team. And my discussion tonight is going to be on water conservation and water and why it's important. So for a slide, here we go. Water conservation, respecting our most precious resource. And from an old poem, there's this quote, water, water everywhere and not a drop to drink. I mean, just think if you were on a raft in the ocean or something and you were thirsty, you'd be wanting to drink something as beautiful as this, especially in the last few days. But we're going to be talking about the quality of our water and what's usable on our planet Earth. And when you think of water, you look at these gorgeous pictures and you think, oh, water is everything. It's what we drink. It's what makes us feel calm. We listen to it to feel good. The rain, we do sports. This is a beautiful picture off the coast of Maine. Water is life. No life can exist on this planet without it. It's our most fragile and precious resource. It's essential to all forms of life. And our water supply now is under attack. It's been under attack from many different forces, and we'll talk about that. But it is when it's nice and clean, it's colorless and odorless, and the main constituent of Earth's hydrosphere and the fluids of every living organism on this planet. And here's more talking about water as life. We have World Water Day. People really understand it when they don't have it, right? So what is water? We know it's H2O, but is it renewable? Is it a recycled resource? We talk about wind and we talk about fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is a finite resource. And I am going to say, let's look at water as a finite resource, because while it seems infinite, it's really not in our use. And some people will beg to differ, but a lot of people will agree with me. I say it's renewable because every bit of liquid on this earth, whether it's in the form of liquid or gas, has been here since the dinosaurs, through King Henry VIII and the Vikings, Declaration of Independence, all through time, we've had water. It's funny, I put this picture of this guy on the moon. There's no water on the moon. That's why we have life here. However, my point is through the time that we're drinking and using the same water that's been here forever, but just in different forms. Why it's important to conserve water. Well, if conserving water will help us prepare for future droughts. It makes water available for recreational purposes, helps preserve the environment and our agriculture and our plants and all the beautiful things around us. It will help us I'm looking future to guard against rising costs and potential conflict. Because when there's water insecurity, that's just a national security issue, I think. And it'll strengthen communities. You think about communities that have poor environment, poor water, and they struggle. And we'll see a little bit of that. More why you should care. Water is a non-renewable resource. We have a finite amount to use again and again. We process it and we treat it, just our regular sanitary habits. We have to process and treat it before we put it back out in the world. New Jersey's population is dense. It's the densest state in the country, and the growing demand for water causes stress on our water supply. So even in a place like Parsippany, we do have water scarcity issues, not because you turn on the water and you don't get it out of your faucet, but in the aquifer, there are areas that are a little bit more depleted than others. And that's not a fault of the town. It's just the reality of many places in the world, in the United States. Efficient water use will help save money, help protect the environment, and ensure future water supplies. Protecting and preserving our water supply is critical to our economic future, our human health, and safety. Small changes in what you do daily can make a big difference. And the efficient water use in non-drought times may help us during drought and hot weather. And we can think about water efficient fixtures. You see them when you go shopping for a new appliance. There's efficiency in energy, which also helps the water issue, and water efficient shower heads, toilets that flush, low flow, etc. And we'll talk more about that. So these 100 squares, just imagine this is water. These 100 squares represent 100% of the water on the earth. So I am going to ask you, it's a little trick question, but maybe you guys are just so incredibly up to speed on your water. What percentage of that water is drinkable? Does anybody know? Of these mopes, 100%. What percentage of that water is drinkable?
I'm going to say 10%.
Yes, my husband said the same thing. Okay, next slide. It's these 3 squares on my screen represent 3% of fresh water that's on the earth, and 2% of it is actually bound in glaciers and icebergs, at least for now, because it's melting. So that's another unfortunate thing. There are more than 326 million trillion, a lot of zeros, gallons of water on Earth, and less than 3% of this water is fresh. Like I said, it's tied up in the ice and in glaciers. So you would think with so much water around, we'd be good for years, but we might have water scarcity. And in some places in the world, there actually is water scarcity happening. And these are the beautiful glaciers and icebergs that have been melting, which is a whole different presentation. Okay, these are my silliest little slides. Who needs it? We do for swimming, we do for our families, our home, our agriculture, and trees, and the oceans need it, and we need it to bathe, and animals need them. So moving on. This is our hydrological cycle. So this is like a little elementary school, but we have the water in the sea. There's evaporation. It goes up and comes back down. It comes up as like a gas, and it comes back down as rain. And we've been seeing a lot of extreme weather lately, and that's due to climate change. And I'll tell you the reason why that happens. Because as temperatures increase, the oceans evaporate more moisture into the sky. It holds more vapor, and it can be warmer, and then it comes back down. And so while we talk about climate change, while the earth is warming, yes, it is, but it's also changing. So with the increased water in the oceans and the changing of the temperature in the oceans, it creates extreme weather. So, oops. So you look at something like this from New Jersey. This is not a storm. This is not Sandy. This is not Irene. This is a big weather storm in Westville, New Jersey in June 2019. So we do have big storms that we see major damage to our municipality, but then we also have these sunny day floodings that happen maybe later. Because what we do have is in extreme weather is we have the droughts, and then it rains like crazy. And then it's like we're inundated, and then we have droughts. And that's why New Jersey is considered ground zero for climate change issues in the next decades to come, because of its unique position on the coast. But of course, it's not just New Jersey. This is a sixth largest city in India, and look how it's ran out of water and its rivers dried up. Can you just imagine seeing ground like this? Here's another picture in another place. This is in Africa, and I'm going to show this little girl. This talks about 5-year-olds walking and carrying water every day to get potable water that you can drink, or water. It's not even water we would want to drink. Every day they walk, they hold it on their head. They walk six kilometers. I think I might have missed my, well, I'll come back to talk about that little one, that little girl. I got my slide. I thought I had a different slide coming. So one of the problems and why we're talking about water conservation, because all these issues intersect. It's the climate issues and it's the pollution issue. We have in the United States and combined sewer overflows from old systems that when you flush the toilet and the rain on the street goes into the sewer, they go into the same place. That's not how we do it these days, but in old systems, that's how it was done. So, you know, you're washing lots of things together, especially when things get flooded in a big storm. We have construction storm water here. It's not properly taken care of. The water, or when you look at a place like Waterview, where the Whole Foods is on Route 46, all the trees come down and there's nowhere for the water to go but to roll into the storm drains and pollute the existing aquifers and streams. You have the municipal publicly owned treatment works. Ideally, they're working for regulations, and that's cool. And the stormwater systems work. And you have all sorts of other discharges from other points of pollution, and of course, mega food in agriculture in our country, where the animals and their waste wind up getting into our aquifers. When I say aquifers, I mean the water that's under the ground. So we have rivers, and we have like rivers and streams in our groundwater, and half of New Jersey you get your drinking water from groundwater. So that's why it's really important for it to be of a good quality. So here you can see how that can, and we've had presentations before like this, where, you know, you have your driveway, the oil gets on from your wheels in your car, it's on your driveway, and it gets into the ground, and it goes right into directly into this storm drain here, and the fish and all are in polluted water. And sometimes garbage gets in there and plastics. And then we have our use of plastic, which globally is an issue. And they say in a decade or so or more, maybe 2050, half of our water will be full of plastic. I mean, half of it will be fish, half of it will be plastic. But we're trying to take care of that. Another reason we care about our water quality is because you have, if you look at this picture, this is in the United States here. So you have the upper corner of kids in Flint, Michigan, where their water was contaminated with lead, drinking and using bottled water to brush their teeth. And this is always, you can't just turn on the water and drink it. Water is a human right. The people were fighting for clean water in Flint. This is some of the water in these water bottles is what it looks like out of the faucet. And of course, this lower left-hand side is just looks illegal, with pollution being or toxics into a stream. And of course, this is out west, this dried up piece of land here, cracking, and California is in a historic drought right now. So people are saying the water tastes bad there. And it's not even who cares about the taste, it's just that it's so dangerous to have no water. So if you look at water stress around the world, you see these dark red splotches here is baseline water stress. There's a lot here going on in the United States. And not that I only care about here, but we are talking about Parsippany per se and what we can do eventually. But look at over here in Europe and places that I know have not. Look all the way up here in the upper left corner too, in the north. You're talking this. It's just frightening to see how many areas of the world are experiencing this stress. And there's no data, I guess, in some of these areas, but we live here, so we know. So I'm going to put this little video on, and you can watch it and you can read this for yourself. And this is the reality for people in the world in a lot of places. Now, this is from World Vision. I mean, my church had done something like this before. Water security and scarcity is so huge. You can't live a life that's normal if that's all you got to drink, and walk, and you spend your time collecting and not even talking about the safety aspect for women walking that kind of distance by themselves. Or I'm going to move on. The wanting of this little child playing, and it's hot, and he has a water fountain here, but you just think, when if you're in the United States, you're not thinking that that's going to look like what this little girl was drinking, but we do take it for granted here in a way. It's in most places. And this could never be more true. We never know the worth of water till the well is dry. And I told my kids this from when we were young. I said, when they were young, I say, water is going to be a resource like oil and gold in your day, and we have to respect it. So these are some facts. And we'll go over them if you have any questions real quick, because some of them I think are interesting. We did talk about 2% of the Earth's water supply is fresh water. Only 1% of the Earth's water, maybe a little more, is available for drinking. The human body is 75% water. A person can survive about a month without food. I can't even imagine. I get a headache after a few hours, but only 5 to 7 days without water. Every day in the United States, the people in the United States drink 110 million gallons of water per day. Showering and bathing are the largest indoor uses. I'm not saying don't do it. So the average American uses 140 to 170 gallons per day, and that includes cooking and bathing. But a leaky faucet can waste 100 gallons a day. So, and then you look at flushing toilets uses 3.5 gallons. I think that's better than what it used to be, because it used to be a higher flush. People put things in a toilet that goes right into the wastewater stream. It just costs more money for the equipment when we do stuff like that. So low flow toilets are sold. But listen to this, an average family of 4 uses 881 gallons of water per week by just flushing. So like if you have to throw away a piece of paper, don't throw it in the toilet and flush it, just throw it in a waste paper basket. You know, it's not a garbage pail. How come it's doing that little flippy thing? Anyway, I'm just going down. When you're brushing your teeth, don't leave the water running. That might be you know, no brainer for some people here, but for a lot of people, it's not a no brainer. They leave the water running, or they turn the water on to get it cold. Put a container in the fridge for cold water. Take a shorter shower. The average 5-minute shower takes 15 to 25 gallons, but 40 gallons for 10 minutes. If you water grass and you have a lawn, I say plant more pollinators and grass, but if you have a lawn, try to keep it a little long, leave your grass clippings, and it helps make the roots stronger if you heavily water it less often. Use your dishwasher when it's full. Just you know, instead of hand washing, just fill it up like you would your washing machine. And just think, more than 13 million households get their wastewater from their own private wells, which is what I was talking about, groundwater. So it's very important that that water is not contaminated from fracking or pollution or just what we throw, which just goes right off the street. A gallon of gasoline takes nearly 13 gallons of water to produce. So carpool when you can. And it takes about 100 gallons of water to grow a single pound of cotton. So let's be mindful of how much we use and how much we buy, and it's good for your pocket. Water conservation includes all policies, strategies, and activities to sustainably manage the resource of fresh water, to protect the hydrosphere, and to meet the current and future human demand. And the population and household size and growth and affluence all affect how much water is used. So we do use more water than people in other parts of the world, even more than Europeans do. We live in a big country, so I think Americans have always been that way. We have expanse, we've come here, we're pioneers, we go out west, we have lots of land, lots of everything. And so I think that's the way we think, but we need to start being a little bit more mindful. And a few examples of dollars saved. A family of 4 could save as much as $75 a year by turning off the tap while brushing their teeth. So there you go. We worry about all these water bills and sewer bills, but look what we can do. Fix a leaky toilet could save $210 more. A family of 4 switch from taking daily baths to short 5-minute showers could save $490 in a year. And a family could save as much as 25,000 gallons and up to $162 a month by running an automatic irrigation system 2 times a week instead of 4. I tend to think that maybe a lot of people seeing a big increase in some of their water bills is because they have the sprinklers that go on, and sometimes they're going on in the rain. Sometimes they're watering the sidewalks and driveways, which is not good. Oh, can you see this? It's a little light.
Yeah.
So that what's important for water quality is green infrastructure. We're fortunate that in New Jersey, we got the Department of Environmental Protection is going a little old school within their engineering practices. And so we look to green infrastructure before we look to gray concrete infrastructure. So that means we're going to use plants and gardens and bioswales with plants and native pollinating agriculture, so that the water seeps down into the ground and gets cleaned by the natural filtration and then goes into the streams and aquifer, and rather than going down the storm drain and just going right into the pipes and being shooting out to the ocean, rivers, streams. Reduce our use of fossil fuels is important because fossil fuels make acidic air pollution, and that does infiltrate into the water. And then using smart and efficient technology. So what we're trying to do on the Parsippany Green Team too is bring that to our neighbors. Let's see if we as a town could use more renewable energy, make it more reasonable for us. The prices are lower, and fossil fuels is not the cheapest answer anymore, which is the good news. We care for and pay for what we value most. So the average cup of coffee is $2.99. A gallon of gas is $3 per gallon. A bottle of water is about 300 times the cost of tap water. Plus, you don't know where your bottled water is coming from. So it's not the same as the regulations you have from the federal government on clean and safe drinking water. You don't know what's in that bottled water, and plus it's in plastic. An average bottle of water from the corner market costs about $1, and on an ounce of gold costs about $1,200. That translates into gold being about 1,000 times more valuable when making a simple comparison of an average size water bottle to an ounce of gold. And why is that important? Because people take it for granted when they turn on their tap, and they get mad if it's not working, but they take it for granted and don't understand that there's a cost to what we need and what we have. Imagine if the cost of water was relative to its need. The importance of this resource, water, and its cost is the best deal we have going. So climate change is a water issue. We can review your energy consumption, look for a high efficiency where you can, efficient lighting, program your thermostat so it's not cooling your house drastically when you're not there. There's eco settings. Plant native species when you can. And like I said, keep the grass clippings on the lawn, don't cut it too short, and don't water your driveways and sidewalks, and don't clean your stairs with water. Try to take a broom to it if you want to sweep away debris. Reduce, reuse, and recycle in this order as often as possible, because we want to take the waste, reduce, reuse, and then recycle. We don't want to do it the other way around, because to recycle and have it done well is a challenge. Support legislation encouraging strong water and air regulations, because our lives depend on it. And look into renewable energy swaps. Electric vehicles, solar are coming down, and rebates are maybe, and I know are, available from the state. Support local municipalities and incentives to make this possible for all residents. And that's what we're trying to do with our the Parsippany Green Team in New Jersey. I mean, in Parsippany. Can you see this well? Just
Yeah,
wait, okay, because it's very light on mine. So these are my solutions. I know it sounds kind of like Zen, but it's really true. We have to be mindful. It is human nature to take for granted what we have until we lose it. And when it is rare or the cost is no longer negligible. Once you start raising the cost, people start screaming, but it's important that we take care of our resources, learn and teach others the value of our most precious resource and the infrastructure and the people required to transport, maintain, and make it drinkable for you. Learn about your water and sewer bill and the infrastructure in your town. Understand how amazing it is that this resource is provided at little relative cost. Think about making changes to conserve. Small changes can lead to big results. And imagine a world rationing water. Imagine that little girl like digging that dirty water. Could you imagine if your child did that once? Fighting for water. Imagine you now live in Flint, Michigan, Africa, California, Middle East, places where water security, scarcity, contamination are some of the realities. So my conclusions here are: water is life. It is not infinite. Clean water is a necessity. Advocate for clean water policy, support legislation. I'm kind of repeating the same thing, but I want everybody to know: conserve water by being mindful of your use and making changes to your habits. And understand that it costs money to maintain the unseen infrastructure. What is it worth for you to have the luxury of clean water to bathe, drink, cook, and brush your teeth with? So some of the resources I got the information from, and we can put can you put this in the chat?
I
Can
don't
you
know.
do it,
Hold
or
on.
should I be,
I
or
think
can I
you're
do
gonna
it?
have to. I don't think
Okay.
I can copy and, yeah, you're
Okay,
gonna have to do it. I can't copy and
I
paste.
have to do it. So I'm gonna, well, oh wait, I didn't do that right. Okay, wait. Okay. So I have to do it up there. So let me just go over these. So the Rutgers and the New Jersey DEP and American Water for New Jersey and the EPA all have amazing resources on conserving water in your home and in your municipality for efficiency products. And they even have these videos, which are pretty cool, inspired by this New Jersey family who are using the the EPA water sense on how to make their home water smart. So you can look at all this stuff. So let me see how I can, well, it's just going to the other thing. You know, maybe
You know what
when
we
we
can
get
do
out,
if Cheryl wants that information, she can,
wait, oh, wait, I went
there
back.
she
Okay,
is.
go. Okay, yeah.
Hey,
Wait, I messed it up. I messed it up. How did I do this?
it's
How do I
okay.
get back?
You go to the top and do,
Yeah.
from current slide. See, it's the second one from the left. Yep,
Okay,
there you go.
thank you. I'm so sorry. This to me is rich. Jacques Cousteau. I mean, I love the quote. We forget that the water cycle and the life cycle are one, but look who's down here. It's GE. So yeah, GE's done a number on some of our waterways. And I love this
We're the same
quote
brand
too
that
by
makes our stove.
okay. Humankind has not woven the web of life. See these little spider webs, this intricate thing with the droplets, how beautiful. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together, all things connect, and that is so true. Thanks. And for information on this, on the green team, you can look at our Facebook page or look at us online. And that is it. So I'm going to go, I can go back and get that information if Cheryl wants it.
Yeah,
Judy, I have two questions.
Yes, Cheryl.
The first is, do you know if Parsippany has any programs related to rain barrels? Constructing rain barrels?
No, but we can do that because we have done that in the past. And we were working with Chris Abrupta from Rutgers, who really, and I'm on his e-board actually for green infrastructure. So if you're interested in something like that,
Mhm.
and I'm sure we could get other people, we could get somebody to do that here. But the Parsippany, the town itself does not have it, but we
Okay.
can do it.
Cheryl, you know,
And I know
if
people have asked about it, so it would be pretty cool.
if you want to learn about it, you can go on the Rutgers Master Gardener.
Uh-huh.
I think it's .org. And on that website, they also have someone you could call. There's videos on how to do various things. One of them is rain barrel and, you know, what pollinators are right for where you are and kind of questions like that. So the Rutgers Master Gardener would be able to help with that.
You know,
good, thank you.
Jean Marie, that might be a great thing for us to, like, as an environmental committee people, to put our heads together, you know, with the environmental stewards and the gardeners, and maybe do something like that in the town, because I think it's important because it gets people aware. And you had another question, Cheryl.
Oh, before we get there, this is Matthew.
Hi, Matthew.
Hi. I'm in the Native Plant Society of New Jersey. That might be another organization that would be interested. I don't think that Morris County has a chapter right now, but certainly there are people who would be interested maybe in something like that.
How to build a rain barrel.
It's me. It's me. I was like, I'm so interested in that, and I would love to learn more. So you work for them, or do
no? I'm just a
part of it?
member. Just a dues paying
well,
member.
just a member. I mean, it's awareness, and I'm trying to. I would love to bring that to our town because I mean that's kind of like one of the low hanging fruit, I think, is if we can do more of the native pollination and more
I agree.
sustainable growing. So yeah, why don't you can email me? I'll give you my email address, my
Sure.
personal one. It's easy. It's treefriend, TREE
Okay.
FRIEND at verizon.net. And I would love to talk to you more about that. I know some people in Morris County some of the different towns are getting together have read that book by Doug Tallamy, The
Yeah.
Nature's Best Hope,
Yeah.
and they're inspired by it. So they're like,
Yeah.
so I said,
know-
well, put me on your email list so I could see what's going on. And then if there's interest, maybe we can join their group.
Okay.
Very good.
Totally.
Okay, and my other question was
Mhm.
just about diapers, cloth versus disposable diapers. Obviously, you have to launder and use water for cloth diapers, but do you have a sense of the relative environmental impact of, involved in production of the disposable type?
Yeah.
Is there a consensus
I
on
think,
what's better?
I think that's because it's always been the question for many, many years now. My sense is, and I'm not, I'm just saying my sense because, I think about even with recycling, how much do you clean out that peanut butter jar with the water you're going to waste doing it
Yeah.
to put it in the recycling bin, and then you don't know where it goes. I just think the problem with the disposable diapers is because, first it's made and then it gets thrown in a landfill, and then it has its whatever it is. How long does it take to decompose? So maybe Jean Marie, you can tell me what your daughters do, like what their zero waste.
It takes about something like 275 years to decompose, but that's with the proper light and air and all the things that something needs to get to decompose. Obviously, once you put them in the landfill, then more things go on top of it, and we don't know when it's going to decompose. I used cloth for both my children, and my youngest daughter is using cloth now, and she's on her third.
Yeah. Does she ever use them like when she goes out?
Sure. Absolutely. She absolutely is not, you have specific, like when she just had her third like 20 days ago. So in the end, when she was trying to take care of her kids, that one thing had to give.
Yeah.
You just had, it just as one thing. But I understand the concern for the water waste, but we
do have a municipal wastewater system.
Right.
So you're cleaning and your water is
being recycled.
Yeah, this is like, it's not like we're putting chemicals down the drain. It's baby, you know what I mean? If our systems and our infrastructure works well, that shouldn't be an issue. Do you know what I mean? So like our infrastructure that takes our waste away, our water away, if it's working well, it shouldn't be an issue. But not like we're putting turpentine down the drain.
Yeah. But it's also, it's also too, it's also, what are you adding to do the laundry? Depends upon what you wash it with. But I weighed the pros and cons between water and the landfill. And because I know that we do have the ability to recycle water, then I found that cloth was the way to go. That is my opinion.
Yeah. My husband has a question.
Hi.
This is Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hi. So one question I had, I've heard a lot about like microplastics working their way into the food stream, food cycle through like the oceans and stuff. Do you know if that's a problem yet in our groundwater?
It is. It's a problem it's in us. And that's the scary part. So we successfully in Parsippany, we were the first town to do the single use bag ban. And then COVID happened and everybody got scared about the ban, the plastics. So, but fortunately in the interim, Governor Murphy had signed a very extensive ban on plastics. And yes, the microplastics are everywhere. It's in mother's breast milk. It's insidious. And we don't even know like what kinds of things. Somebody gets diagnosed with MS, somebody has you don't know what it's doing to your health.
Right.
Just like the stuff air we breathe. It's not like this and then that happens. It's years of being exposed. So yes, we did that in our town, and just look for information we're trying to like get people like, okay, COVID's over, bring your reusable bags to the store, because now Governor Murphy's plan is going to come in, and it's going to be straws, it's going to be styrofoam, it's going to be like all kinds of plastics. And what's old is new again. Before plastic, what did we do? Our grandparents and all lived and they had other things, and thermoses and lunch boxes, and there's great zero waste stores. Summit has one, and Montclair has one, and Maplewood, where you could go and buy things, and if you're really that interested, and get sandwich covers and stuff for your kids that are not plastic.
Yeah.
So,
but it already feels to me that it's at, a DEFCON 2. We really have to get on the ball and stop, because it's already in us. And so we want to make sure that whatever's in us, maybe we can slow the adding more into us by doing certain things.
Or when you get to be older and you have older kids, you think, okay, what will it be like for them when they're older and they're kids, or at least to do something, because quite frankly, I feel like my generation, and I've been thinking about this for decades, but it wasn't even a topic of conversation on a political level, but now it is.
Yeah.
Will something happen? We hope so. But it's people, just making people aware is the first step in making small changes.
Yep. Education is key. We all know that.
Yeah.
What else?
Cheryl, where do you live?
We're in Powder Mill.
Oh, okay.
Here in Parsippany.
Oh, yeah. Okay. On which side of
North
north
of
okay.
10.
Yeah. Nice. No, I know where it is, but there's there's old and new. I live in Glacier Hills, like kind of near the Barnes and Noble down there. So
I think we're old, right? Powder Mill North, I think, is old.
Oh, right. North of 10.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The houses that are 70 years old.
Yeah.
What? There's a peacock around you, right?
Yes. Yep. We call him Peaky. He's a lot of fun.
Seen him? Have you seen him?
I did. No, I don't know. I one day I was canvassing, and I'm like, what is that noise? And then I saw the peacock. I'm like, oh my God.
We've been here about 10 years, and I think he's been here at least 10 years before that, from what people in the neighborhood say.
Does he have a mate?
No, we keep hoping that he'll find a nice turkey, but no.
Well, maybe he likes living alone.
He might.
So where does the peacock go in the winter?
I don't know exactly. People might be nice to him and open a shed or something, but I don't really know that for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, was he someone's pet and they left him behind?
No,
I don't know.
It's been there. It's a neighborhood institution. I mean, the peacock is.
He's kind of the legend, and there's a lot of myths around him.
Yeah. So the co-leader of the Parsippany Green team with me is Matthew Kavanaugh. I don't know if you know who he is. He lives in your area.
Okay.
That part of Powder Mill. And he's done a lot of great things for the Parsippany Green team because his expertise is renewable energy. And so we're going for the gold on that. We had the mayor sign a pledge, and he's going to do it. Not many towns have done the gold for sustainable Jersey, but it's making a pledge to go carbon neutral in a certain amount of years, which makes it's a big effort for the town because we have to do a lot of energy savings and then energy aggregation, but that's what we're doing. But this year, they just started another thing in Sustainable Jersey called the Gold for Water. So that's my thing. So I'm hoping we could do that in Parsippany maybe in the next couple of years. We'll see. It just takes a lot of volunteers. So if you're ever interested in doing something like that, or just reach out to me for the Rainbow anyway. I'm not going to make you feel like you have to do anything else, but just know that it exists. So
I wonder if
Thank you.
either Dan or Cheryl, we have on the YouTube channel other programs that the Parsippany Green Team have done.
We haven't.
So
This is the first Parsippany Green Team exposure I've had.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So we have it's the Parsippany Troy Hills Public Library. There's several there's several different programs on there about the Parsippany Green Team. And if you are interested, it sounds like you are, take a look.
Okay.
Yeah, when COVID happened, we just tried to do them. We couldn't be there at the library to do it, so we did it on Zoom, these Zoom presentations. So yeah, we have one on the renewable energy there too. So
it's there.
The Native Plant Society webinars got me through this past year and a half.
Oh,
online.
I'll bet.
I'm gonna, yeah. So I'll touch base with you because I'm gonna look that up. I'm trying to learn more about that in my yard, and
it's fun.
Yeah, that is great.
You make Dan plant with you?
Sorry?
You make Dan drag all the plants and plant them with you?
No, but he has helped with some holes occasionally when the roots that are in there, the rocks are a little bit too much for me.
Got it. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
It is.
It's well worth it.
But it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, then. If there's no more questions, I'd like to thank Judy very much for the presentation. I enjoyed it and I learned a thing or two. And on the 15th is our next Parsippany Green Team presentation at 7 o'clock, Thursday the 15th. So if anybody's interested in coming to that, that would be great. But if we have no more questions, then I guess we'll say goodnight.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.